Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I've got your Su-11 gameplay. However, this is not your typical Su-11 gameplay, no siree. This gameplay is with a stock Su-11. That's right, so when you buy the Su-11, you get all of the modifications unlocked, and I have deselected every single mod that I can deselect, and I will be going to default ammunition just to also show that I've got only stock parts on this, and that is to show that this vehicle, even stock at 7.0 BR, or at least check to see if it is still OP. Now, as many people know, the Su-11 is considered to be OP by, pretty much anyone who has ever played against it, and it still has better stats than the very good at 7.0 BR, possibly deserving of 7.3 BR Su-9, as you can see here. 892, 25.7, 25.3, and it beats it in pretty much every single category. So, and it also has the same exact cannon armament. So I'll also put the stats for the regular Su-11 here so you can actually check, but this plane, even stock, is better than 7.0, 7.3 BR aircraft. That said, let's get into a few fights here, see what we could do, see if this is still OP, even at 7.0 BR, as a totally stock aircraft. This is not going to be a very long gameplay, but I want to see for myself, and I want you guys to see if this thing is actually that OP, that even stock, it's OP. Let's get into it. So just a quick thing to note here, that Su-11 up there, I'm assuming he's got all of his modifications in. I mean, it makes no sense not to unless you're being stupid like me. And he's out accelerating me by a pretty decent margin. Not by a ton, but still by a pretty decent margin, just as a comparison between me and a likely unmodified Su-11. So something that a lot of people, I feel, forget about this aircraft is that it sits at a BR. I mean, one, obviously, this thing is so incredibly powerful at 7.0 BR that even if it was at 7.7 BR, I feel like it'd still probably do pretty decently. But this thing is at such a BR at, again, 7.0, where 7.0 gets, it doesn't really get up tiered a ton. I mean, it gets up tiered a bit, but not to the point where it's just overwhelmingly, awful. So this thing can still perform pretty decently, and you're going to be facing a lot of 6.7, 6.3 BR aircraft, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think the A1U4 is a 6.3 or 7? Yeah, 6.7. So I'm going to go for this ME-262. The ME-262 is essentially a direct downgrade from this, and it is, a higher BR, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just crazy to me. And this thing is still performing very well. Very, very well. Also, if you guys want, I do have a review on the Su-11, the I guess like the fully spaded Su-11, which is what people expect when they buy this thing. So if you guys want, try to check that out in the comments below. I will post that. Ah, so close, so close. Okay, we have this Spitfire coming up. Okay, got half my ammo left. Pull up and start diving in on them. Now, that's the FR-22. That thing is still dangerous to me, even though I'm in an Su-11. Looks like I got a plane behind me. I still have to, I felt bad. I kind of feel bad about that because, of course, his wing was ripped, but of course he was still flying and presenting a danger to the enemy. Now, one thing I am noticing is that obviously, I've got about 8 meters per second lower rate of climb per the stat card, and it does show a bit. I mean, this thing does not accelerate quite as well. You could clearly see that in the beginning of this match when I had the other Su-11 in front of me, assuming he was fully modified, which, I mean, like I said, makes no sense that he wouldn't be fully modified. It's a pretty safe assumption. And he was out accelerating me by a pretty decent margin. By the beginning of the match, he was about 1 kilometer ahead of me. So it does impact flight performance a pretty decent amount. But, okay, we have this guy. Can I pull up in time to get ahead on? Nope, okay. Not too worried, but I think I've got someone else coming down. Yeah, that A21. Not too worried about A21s in general, but obviously I still don't want to have to fight them if I can avoid it, unless from an advantageous position. Missed. I hate these shots so much. The cannons on this thing, very, very powerful, but I'm not a huge fan of them. So this is where you start seeing the difference in flight performance. In these close quarters rolls, you know, of course, it's not going to be fair with a KI-84 behind me. That thing is going to beat me any day of the week when it comes to maneuverability, even if I was fully spaded. But it's on extra display here. I'm going to try to destroy this guy at least. If I can even get an edge over him, which I doubt I will. This K-84 is coming in. So I think part of this is due to the fact that the plane is stock. Part of it's just due to the fact that I got picked to die by a KI-84, and there's not too much I could do about that. But again, I mean, like, between matches, you're not going to be able to go up as high. You're not going to be able to maintain as much speed. There's a lot less that you can do while this is spaded. But those 2 kills were extremely easy, and I got those on a, obviously, it looks like a very underperforming team. So, take it as you will. Let's get into one more match here, see what we could do. But, I mean, thus far, you know, some people might say, oh, 2 kills, that's not a lot. You're right, it's not a lot, but it's also not bad. And I was able to secure those very easily in my first game with this thing. So let's try one more match, see what we can do, and see if this plane is really 7.0 BR when it's stock, or even better than 7.0 BR. Let's get into it. You know, as I'm playing this more through these matches, I'm realizing that this actually flies very similarly, as one could imagine, to the fully spaded Su-9. And as I showed before, I believe, on the initial intro to this video, it actually has very similar stats to, of course, the Su-9. And, you know, it flies very much like that. Now, the Su-9 is extremely powerful, very powerful at 7.0 BR. Arguably, and there's a pretty good argument for it, should be 7.3 BR. It's pretty much like a supercharged Me-262, whereas this is like a mega-charged Me-262. And it shows. You know, I mean, they both show. They're both very powerful for their BRs. And, okay, those are IL-28s. You know, it's pretty obvious here. Now, you could tell that I've lost a bit of the pep in my step here relative to a standard. I'm not going to go for that because I need my ammo. But relative to a standard Su-11, it really has. Its mid-range energy retention isn't all that bad. You know, in that turn, for example, I didn't really lose too much energy. Gaining altitude at a reasonable rate here, and we're not really losing all too much speed. Of course, there is some speed loss, and I feel like that would obviously be helped by having better engines, but this isn't all too bad. Kind of expected a kill there, to be honest with you. Got a person coming in over here. Want to go for this S3D1. He's a little distracted. Got him. Nice. Okay, got this F80 here. Feel like that F89 is behind me. Yes, he is. Got to turn. He's a bit heavy. F7F has a much better chance of getting me, though. Because that thing actually has maneuverability. Is he crashing? Nope. Got to turn up. Now I can go... You know what? I'm going to probably... Ooh, this is a tough one. Who do I go for? I go for this guy. Didn't get it. And thus I was left behind. So that was my own stupid performance there. It is what it is, though. So that said, you know, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I really don't feel like dragging this out so much. But 2 kills, 2 consecutive matches. And more importantly, you kind of saw how this plane flies. And, you know, I don't really want to... you know, give you like a kill montage or be like, oh, you know, I got 5 kills in this. It's amazing. It's like, dude, you can get 5 kills in some of the worst vehicles in the game, you know, if you wait long enough. So I just wanted to play a few matches in this, show how good it is, kind of give my own perspective on it, being that I've flown the Su-9, flown comparable planes, love the Me-262. And in both of these matches, mind you, it was... you know, not the greatest allied team, not the worst, of course. We're actually winning in this case. You know, there were definitely a few cases where I probably should have had a kill, and I ended up not, simply because I messed up. So that said, again, just let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I feel like at 7.0 BR, even stock, it should still probably be 7.3 BR, let alone fully spaded, should probably be 7.7 BR, maybe maybe 7.3, but there's no way the Su-11, as it comes when you first purchase it, should be 7.0 BR, especially after this experience. So that said, thanks so much again, everyone, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.